Have a second. That is literally how long you have for somebody to evaluate you. Somebody looks at you and determines whether you're making eye contact, judges your posture. These are all unconscious processes, but nonetheless, they are happening. So let's just say you look at somebody and, all right, here's a good example. You're walking down a hallway and there's somebody who's coming towards you. Now, where are they looking? Are they looking at you? Are they looking at the floor? Are they hunched over? What kind of posture do they have? Do they walk like this? Do they walk like this? Do they sway their shoulders? All these things all factor into how somebody identifies you and how you make somebody feel. Do you have a slight smile on your face? Are you squinting? Do you seem tense? Why does this matter? Well, it matters because it's how you're seen by the world. You can also learn a lot about yourself from the way that you walk and carry yourself. So let's just say you're in a job interview. Are you making eye contact with the interviewer? That's going to be a huge factor in how that interviewer evaluates you as a person. Do they respect you? Did they think that you respect yourself? Because that carries a lot of weight. So what can we learn? How do we evaluate each other? Well, if you're walking through a crowded hallway and your eyes are down facing the floor, well, first of all, why would you be looking at the floor if you're walking down the hallway? Unless something about your gaze in front of you made you feel unsettled for some reason. Well, it could be because the person is very self-conscious and doesn't want to make eye contact. Maybe they're afraid. I think that, one of the biggest signs that an individual is made anxious by another person is the amount of eye contact that they make is highly diminished. So if you're ever wondering, if somebody is feeling anxious about connecting with somebody else or sharing ideas with somebody else, all you really have to do is look at how much eye contact they're making. So right now I'm looking directly at the camera, right at the dead center. So it may not come off on this camera that well, I hope it does. But, how looking into somebody's eyes should make you feel a certain way. And maybe you're so used to it and that it's not something you notice, which is great because that means you're not a socially anxious person. You can make eye contact. You respect yourself enough to make eye contact with somebody else. As you guys can make that connection. That connection doesn't feel weird to you. You can you're confident enough in who you are not to be affected by the other person, and that's an excellent attribute. What else? Posture. Now, posture is another huge thing. Posture, you could be hunched over, which is, as Jordan Peterson, one of my favorite authors, was eloquently put, posture is a perception of self-power, I think is the best way to put it. So he makes a comparison to lobsters. Lobsters who are dominant lobsters who have won fights, they have like lower this a little bit. Their chests are like puffed out, and their shoulders, the lobster shoulders are back. It's all like very open, However, if a lobster were to lose a fight, their brain will literally liquefy and reform because it needs to reappropriate itself for what it's like to be a loser. Their posture changes as well. So let me just look at the camera again. It'll all of a sudden be more hunched over because it's more protective. They're trying to protect themselves, and there's that unconscious factor that's going into it now, that the unconscious process, like I gotta protect myself now. But it's completely like, it's crazy how this works, because as I'm doing this, you'd hear it in my voice drops too, like it all of a sudden gets a little bit more like timid, I guess. So, but when I was describing, isn't that funny how that works? When I was describing how when you have like a upright posture like this, you're more open, you're speaking from your chest more, you're speaking from your stomach and your chest, and that makes a huge difference. Like you can feel it right now. I can feel it right now as I'm talking to you, my camera, that I have like more power being exerted, more energy coming out. So what can you learn about other people by analyzing the posture that they have? Well, first you can look at how much eye contact they make. If they're not making very good eye contact, most likely means that they are nervous about themselves. And that shouldn't make you nervous. Like sometimes a lot of people believe that a lack of eye contact might mean the person doesn't like you. And in fact, that's probably not the case. It's probably that they Maybe it's possible they feel intimidated by your presence. They don't want to confront you, because when you make eye contact with somebody, it might feel like a confrontation, when in reality it's just a connection. You can tell how confident a person is by how they're walking. So are they walking like a little bit more hunched over, their shoulders, are their shoulders up like this, or are they nice and relaxed? Because if they're up like this, they're probably high strung, they carry a lot of tension in their neck. A stressed out person usually will carry a lot of tension in their neck. A lot of people who are stressed will often tell you, "Oh, my neck is so stiff, it's so tight." It's because they unconsciously keep their shoulders up. And this kind of goes hand in hand with, you know, keeping your chest not as open by, you know, being a little bit more concave with your upper body as opposed to convex outward. So when you're looking at somebody's body language, you can easily tell what type of person they are in that split second of meeting them, simply by how much eye contact they make. Do they speak from their here? All right, so here's another thing: is where are they speaking from when they're talking to you? Are they speaking from their chest? Are they speaking from their from their throat? Are they speaking from their stomach? A deeper voice, like, all right, so let me see. Let me try and make different voices right now to try and emulate it. So like, if I was talking like this, I would like say, you're speaking from the throat. Not a lot's going on down here. In fact, when I'm speaking like this, my chest kind of feels tight and uncomfortable. But if you're, you know, if I'm like trying to say something, like, it's hard to talk actually while I'm talking like this, because the words just don't flow and the thoughts don't come out as easily. But I'm done. When somebody's talking like that, they're likely tense in some way. There's like some form of tension that's going on somewhere in the chest or the stomach or the perhaps even the solar plexus area that's not allowing that person to relax enough to talk. They might talk that way simply because they're uncomfortable by the sound of their own voice. Maybe they've been criticized often as a child, or enough times as even an adult, or and earlier in their years, so that they've kind of just naturally evolved this voice. That kind of, again, goes hand in hand with body posture. You know, if you're going to be more tense, you're going to be hunched over, and perhaps you're going to be talking a little bit more high-pitched from the throat or from the nose, like, you know, you're talking from the nose. You know, a healthy voice is somebody who's nice and relaxed. They're talking from the stomach. You know, they're breathing from the stomach too. That's another really important one, is people who will, a lot of men, men with guts, men who like don't like their gut pressing against their gut pressing against their shirt. They'll kind of suck it in, and that's not good, because then you're preventing yourself from breathing, and you're only breathing from your chest. That's not very uncomfortable, and if you do that long enough, it's going to hurt you. So if you're seeing someone breathing, they really should be breathing from the gut. That's where all their breath should really be coming from. So, and that would be a sign that they're a calmer individual. So let's recap. How do you know, what can you learn about a person based on their posture and eye contact and even voice? If they're speaking from, if they're qualities of like a healthy, confident individual, they're going to be speaking from their gut, their chest. They'll have like a deeper voice because of that, and that's a sign that they have a more relaxed core. That sign, good, healthy. Shoulders will be at their sides, but definitely not hunched over like this. If you're hunched over like this, you see somebody who's hunched over like this, or if their neck is poking out like this, some people call that nerd neck, if that makes any, you know, because you're hunched over and you're looking up. That's not a healthy sign. And lastly is the amount of eye contact they make, and this one's probably one of the most important ones. And you know, usually somebody who's you know, a healthier individual is going to be able to make eye contact pretty easily, and it won't be an intense eye contact too. Like, you know, their eyes will just be relaxed, because their eye contact with you will be something that's just second nature to them. It's not going to bother them. It's not going to create any tension. It's sort of just, you know, almost like how I'm looking at the camera right now. There's really no tension. I'm just looking at you, making a connection. So as you can see, you can learn a lot about somebody based on their body posture, how they're breathing, how they're speaking, and a lot of this unconsciously will get processed within half a second to 5 seconds of simply meeting somebody or you know, walking past somebody in a hallway. You know, these things just get processed very quickly, and you may not be consciously aware of it, but it's happened to you but it's happened so many times in your life that your mind has formed associations with a body posture type or voice or eye contact and a certain type of individual. So you may not consciously think of that when you're passing by or meeting somebody, but you may be feeling it. So that's one of the major reasons why certain people make you feel certain ways. So anyways, until next time, peace.